We see in the book that the solution to the multiple regression problem is essentially the solution to a set of simultaneous equations, one equation for each unknown. In the case of cost as the dependent variable and size and visibility as the independent variables, if we are going to solve the multiple regression problem, we have to add a third variable, which we will call the constant or intercept, and we'll designate that variable as x0, and that variable actually takes on only one value, the value 1. The existence of this intercept variable will allow us to solve the multiple regression problem. In this case, we have three unknowns: the coefficient for x1, which we will call b1, the coefficient for x2, which we will call b2, and the coefficient for x0, which we will call b0. Now, according to the formula on page 365 of the book, we need the sums of the squares for x1, the sums of the squares for x2, the sums of the squares for x0, and what are called the cross products, that is, the sum of x1 times x2, x1 times x0, x2 times x0, and finally x1 times y, x2 times y, and x0 times y. We will designate those values in column F. x1 hat 2, x2 hat 2, and x0 hat 2, and x1, x2, x1, x0, x2, x0, x1 y, x2 y, and x0 y. To find these values, we will use the two Excel functions sum square and sum product. For x1 hat 2, x2 hat 2, and x0 hat 2, we will begin with equal sum sq, and we will select first size as x1. Then we will drag the lower right hand corner of the cell G3 down to cell G5, and then we will highlight this cell G4 and move the blue box to the variable visibility and hit enter, and we will highlight this box G5 and move the box to the intercept, and we now have the three values x1 squared, x2 squared, and x0 squared. Now we will use sum product to get the rest of the values, and the first sum product will be of x1 with a comma and x2. That's the sum product for x1, x2. Now we'll copy that all the way down, and again we'll get the rest of these values by moving the boxes appropriately. This is x1, x0. This is x2, x0. This is x1, y. This is x2y. and this is x naught y. These are all the values we will need to solve the three equations and three unknowns that will give us the coefficients b1, b2, and b0.